Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and for this one, gonna be reviewing another one of my all-time favorite Disney animated films. Now, number one, The Great Mouse Detective, number two, The Night Before Christmas, number three, Robin Hood. So, for number four, it's Zootopia. Oh man, Zootopia. What can you say about Zootopia? It's fantastic. It's freaking fantastic. I freaking love Zootopia. It's amazing. Because I remember, because when it was announced, I remember, because, seeing its IMDb page and seeing the concept art, drawings, and when the trailer came out, still, I wasn't sure about it, if anybody else was, some films, like Disney films, and for Zootopia, for example, okay, well, give me more, because not much to say, because the trailer, because it had Nick Wilde, I forget how the trailer goes, but, I mean, the dialogue, for example, okay, we see Nick Wilde, he's naked and such, but then, jump cuts, with a shirt and pants and tie, and then all the animals walking around and such. Then Judy Hopps comes in, I guess has him halt or gives him a ticket or something, I don't know. But then tranquilizes him, and that was when more trailers and such came out for Zootopia. And one of them was which was hilarious, centering around the part with the sequence with the sloths, which we'll get to that later on. And so when we saw it in theaters, it was me, Little Blue, and IG Illusional. We saw it in theaters, and and we were we were laughing and such, and of course at the sloth part, and so I mean, we loved it. It was fantastic, all the jokes and its funny moments here and there, and emotion to it. I mean, hey, it's Disney, they have their movies can be funny, emotionless, they can have funny parts and emotional parts, you get the idea. So of course with the movie, it starts off, because, as with Judy Hopps, young Judy Hopps doing a school play and such, and because when I grow up, I want to be I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a lawyer, and Judy Hopps, I'm going to be a police officer, and we cut to Gideon Grey, a police officer. That is the most stupidest thing, I think I could do a pretty decent Gideon Grey impression, but and speaking of Gideon Grey, because later on, because Judy stumbles upon when Gideon and it's either a ferret or it's a weasel. It's a weasel, I think. Bullying a couple of the kids and taking a ticket and such or whatever, and Judy comes in being brave, acting like a police officer. You better give them back their tickets, and then Judy kind of hits his face, with her feet, and I don't know, it kind of hits his teeth or something like that. I don't know, because he, and then he just scratches her. I want you to remember this day, and everything else. That's a big surprise there. Just, wow, I think Gideon Grey went too far. Years later and such, she is grown up, and she now is in police academy and such, and that montage, because in that female polar bear instructor, it's you're dead, Bunny Banyo, you're dead, and even when the part where she goes to the bathrooms and the toilet, she slips into the toilet. It's too big for her, and she's in the other bathroom stall. I'm like, you're dead, and forget it and go home, and then she finally preps herself up and does good, what she didn't do right, and then she's now ready to be a police officer. Gets on the, I want to say train, or it's a monorail, pretty much gets on the monorail, and her parents, I think, yeah, Stu Hops and Bonnie Hops. I like it because Bonnie Hops is because Bonnie Hunt, who voices Bonnie Hops. That's kind of hard to say, don't you think? Bonnie Hops. Bonnie Hunt voices Bonnie Hops. I'm pretty sure Bonnie Hops was named after Bonnie Hunt, so, you know, you get the idea. So, and of course the song, you know, Try Everything, oh, it's a really good song, and by, oh god, I forget her name already, but you know who sang it, and her character, Gazelle, yeah, she was pretty good, and everything that's in Zootopia, because, oh yeah, because, like, I noticed, like, in the section where it's winter or anything else like that, if you look closely, there's a little Easter egg, like, a daddy elephant and two of his little girl elephants. The little girl elephants are dressed up as Elsa and Anna. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen that Easter egg. But anyways, and so like, what's cool is, like, everything, because, like, the parts where they get off the monorails and such, like, from the hamsters to the giraffes, and oh yeah, and I remember one part, like, at the smoothie kind of place, I don't know, like, puts in the smoothie and goes up and for the giraffes to reach. It's funny. And with Gazelle, you know, hi, I'm Gazelle, and welcome to Zootopia. And so Hops gets in an apartment, and, like, noisy neighbors, I think they're antelopes, I can't remember, but, you know. And then she goes in, and, oh yeah, and so the funny, what's his face? I think it's a cheetah or leopard, I can't remember. I think I think it's a cheetah or leopard, I can't remember, but, you know, you guys let me know. But, you know, the one that's at the front desk, you know, he's funny. This is a horse, you know. And then there's Chief Bogo, voiced by Idris Elba. Oh, Chief Bogo was pretty good in this. And so, you know, gives all the police officers their assignments, and gives Judy a ticking assignment for, you know, tickets and such, you know. I like that part where Hops just, like, 100 tickets. I'm not going to give 100 tickets. I'm going to do 200 tickets, you know. And, like, does all the tickets and such, you know, and I think at one point, like, oh, no, because as she's doing that, she then sees Nick Wilde, and then, you know, she doesn't know, because it's all set up, you know, because it's Nick and the little animal, I forget what his name is, but you know what I'm talking about, you know, pretending to be, like, his son, and, like, saying, you know, and getting a Jumbo Pops, and, you know, and then, like, you know, my son wants to grow up to be an elephant, you know, isn't that adorable, you know? Oh, yeah, and it's really funny, because Judy Hopps has a point when she says this, are you aware that you're serving the ice cream and such with your trunks and such, and might get boogers, and the elephant, like, you know, spits out the ice cream on the face of another elephant. It's funny. And it's true, they're using their trunks, they're part of their body parts to do that. That's, yeah, Judy's got a point, you know? Use something else instead of that, you know? Jeez. And so, like, Judy gets fooled and such, you know, they get the Jumbo Pop, but then as she proceeds on with the tickets, she then sees them, and yeah, they got the Jumbo Pup, they made, like, little popsicles or whatever, you know, the shape of paws, and sell them to, like, business workers or whatever, you know, and, like, you know, no kiss for daddy, like, you do, and I bite your face off, you know, ciao. It's pretty funny. And later on, because Judy kind of messes up, you know, because of the tickets, and, like, I am a real cop, and then I remember, because the weasel, like, steals a bunch of apples or something, I can't remember what it was, and then the pig, who works at the market and such, and it's Josh Dallas, Jennifer Goodwin's husband, who voices Judy Hopps, her husband, Josh Dallas, voices a pig, and I think it makes sense for, you know, it's nice, and why not, for, you know, her husband making a cameo and such, and they're like, you know, hey, that guy stole all my apples, such, like, are you a cop or not, you know? I think they kind of changed his voice a bit. I think they did, because as I listened to both the behind the scenes of recording the voice and the movie, I think, yeah, they did kind of tweak his voice a bit of the pigs, so, you know. And what's really cool, Judy Hopps is chasing the weasel. It's a weasel, I think. I think, you know. You guys let me know in the comments. Correct me on some stuff. I don't care, you know. Because, hey, I'm not the only one who does... I know I'm not the only one who does stuff like this, you know. But, you know, let me guys know. So, like, she ends up chasing him in the section of the town with, like... the little people, like the rats and guinea pigs, whatever, you know? And then, like, almost, like, Judy saves a couple of them, like, one of them from about to get hit by a donut, you know? Again, guys, let me know. You guys let me know, because I think it's a mole or something, I want to say. Or, I'm just having a bit of trouble, but, you know. Like, oh, love your hair or anything like that. Oh, thank you, you know. And that's when, like, Bogo calls in Judy and, like, you know, after what she did and such, not to do that and such, and, like, you know, saying something of a cartoon, you know, to let it go, you know. And then a female otter comes in and, you know, begging to find her husband, Emmett Otter, which, fun fact, Emmett Otter is named after Emmett from Emmett Otter's Junk Band Christmas. You know, isn't it obvious? And, like, Judy takes the assignment of finding Emmett Otter, and Bogo, you know, just after sending her outside of the office, you know, you're fired. And then Bellwether comes in, and it's like, oh, Madam Bellwether, you know, I give you 15 hours, or something like that, you know? And then she goes off to find Nick Wilde and such, and that's when the like, oh, no, the sequence with, where the animals are nude, you know? It's funny. And, like, Judy's like, oh my gosh, you're naked, you know? And we come to the scene, and, you know, it's funny because the animals, like, they're naked and such, you know? You guys get the joke, but, you know. And I remember there's one part which is clearly obvious, like, there's a couple of bears, like, scratching their backs on, like, palm trees or whatever, you know? It clearly looks like a nod to Baloo in the Jungle Book scratching his back, you know, the Bare Necessities song sequence. And so, they get the numbers, the number address, the car address and such, you know, I guess of Emmett Otter, 29HTD03, you know, and of course that's when the sloth sequence comes in, and it is, I will say, it is a funny sequence, it is, you know, no doubt about it, no doubt it is a pretty funny sequence with the sloths, and, you know, flash, 100-yard dash, you know, nice to see you, you know, nice to see you, and as he's putting in the numbers, you know, 2, 9, and then out of nowhere, like, Nick says, you know, hey, Flash, want to hear a joke? You know, sure, you know, what do you call a 3-humped camel? And you're like, I don't know, you know, pregnant. He laughs, and then they did so perfectly. When he starts off, like, it's hilarious. Even when he's not start laughing and he makes that face, it gets a good laugh of the audience. You know, the audience gets a good laugh from that. Even Little Blue has even the first time Little Blue, like the first times, like, me and Little Blue had seen that, because we've seen when we were, like, seeing a movie and such, and they showed the trailer and that. Even Little Blue got a good laugh out of that, you know. And who wouldn't? It is a funny part, you know. And, like, hey, Priscilla. And Priscilla is actually voiced by Kristen Bell, you know, cameo and such, you know, who had previously voiced Anna. So, yeah, it's just nice that she gets to do her voice in something else Disney, you know, which, for example, Zootopia. And so, like, they come out and such, you know, it's night, and then they finally get to where the address is in the car, the car address, you know, and so they come across the car, and then they cut, then Nick realizes that, oh, we shouldn't be here. Then polar bears are right there, and they take them to Mr. Big, and oh my gosh, this is excellent, because with Zootopia, you know, it's a whole nod to The Godfather with Mr. Big, you know. It's Marlon Brando / Don Corleone, but as a mole or a mole rat. I think it's a mole rat, yeah. Not a mole rat, Oh God, help me out. Just you guys let me know what animal it is, because I seriously cannot remember. Again, as I said, you guys let me know in the comments some of the things I can't remember, and if I mess up, I don't care. I don't care. But yeah, and Maurice LaMarche, of course we all know Maurice LaMarche, him voicing Mr. Big. He does a good job, especially because Mr. Big is to resemble Don Corleone, you'd have to do an impression of him, but kind of different. You come in my daughters, you invade. As my daughter's about to get married. It's hilarious. It's pretty hilarious. And at that part, because Mr. Big, because Nick is trying to get Judy to shut up and tells Mr. Big, she's a mime, which mimes can't speak, Then Judy says, she's a police officer and demands, answers and questions, and that's when Mr. Big says, ice him, Right before they ice him, Mr. Big's daughter comes in and such, Daddy, I thought I said not to ice anybody on the day of my wedding, It's like, wait, she's the one that saved me, from the giant donut, and like, love your dress, oh, thank you, and so everything seems perfectly fine, and I love the face, because after, like, Judy and Mr. Big kiss each other on the cheek, Nick's face, like, I just love that face, like, what just happened, I guess, I'm sure that's what that face means, I could be wrong, but, So they get some word and such from Mr. Big, and that's when we cut to, like, some rainforest kind of place, and like they meet a panther who lost one eye because of the attack of Mr. Emmett Otter, and actually that panther is voiced by the same guy who voiced LeFou in Disney's animated version of Beauty and the Beast, that is. So he's done a lot of voice work, and I think and for Disney as well. So I forget his name, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But as we find out, like something is going on, like either like some virus or whatever that is causing the predators to go wild and such, and it happens to the panther, and then chases down Nick and Judy. And later on, like, the panther's not been seen, and, like, Bogo and the rest of the police officers come in, give me your badge. And Nick's like, no, and what did you say? No, she will not do that, you gave her 15 hours and such, which is still, like, something, they go off, and Bogo doesn't do anything, none of them do, so, And then we get a little bit of backstory from Nick, because Nick, it's kind of a bit touching, because Nick was gonna be part of like this scout kind of thing or whatever, like Boy Scouts or whatever. And so like they have the scouts, like, I guess, test him or something, the Pledge Allegiance, the allegiance or the speech or whatever. And that's when they just bully him. They put a muzzle on him, That's when he walks out and he cries, and it's kind of a bit of an emotional backstory for him, what he was like, as a kid. Because we've seen Judy's, and now we've seen Nick's. We know about Nick's. And so, they come across, later on, because with the wolves, because Judy tricking the wolves, and making them howl, it was pretty funny. And then they see all the animals that are being held, that have gone savage and wild, and then like the mayor, because I forgot to mention the mayor, which is the lion, voiced by, of course, J.K. Simmons, does it out. He's great at voice acting, and of course from J.K. Simmons to from his part, in Portal 2, yeah, so his part as the mayor, like, how do you think they're gonna believe, the mayor who is a lion, and then like Judy's parents out of nowhere calls her and like, oh no, like someone's in here, you better run, go hide, Mr. Mayor, sets off the alarm, and that's when Nick and Judy, they flush themselves down the toilet and they go down waterfall into the river, and that's when they call in for backup, and Bogo and the mayor's arrested. It's like, no, you don't understand, and that's when, like, later on, and even Nick is, I don't know, this doesn't feel right for him and such, and that's when he leaves Judy, and that's when later on Judy quits as being a police officer, and goes back to with her parents and everything else, and we come back to, and we see Gideon Grey again, and he apologizes to Judy, because even saying that I was really a dumb kid, and now works for her parents, and that's when it's Judy finds out, because when some of her brothers and sisters are playing in the field, and like with blueberries or whatever, Judy then realizes that the blueberries were one of the few reasons or whatever, something like that. And so, like, she goes off to find Nick, and, has that pen, if the repeats what you say, that, I'm just a dumb bunny, I'm just a dumb bunny, and that's when, there's a cool sequence, because, the subway, and with the little train, little train car, and with the Rams, and it's funny, because as one of the Rams is running by, like, kind of gets out, and it passes, it shaves off half of his belly, It's funny, it's really funny. And then, as they're outside, like, as what's coming to hit them is, like a rhinoceros kind of themed train, and they got all the stuff, and the train car does crash and explodes, but they got the evidence, and that's when Bellwether comes in. They meet up with Bellwether, but Judy kind of realizes, she's not sure if she's gonna give it to Bellwether, and so, that's when you realize Bellwether is the bad guy in this, and it wasn't the mayor, the lion mayor, voiced by J.K. Simmons. So Bellwether is, surprise, surprise, the villain, and this is a pretty interesting scene, because she hits Nick, like, tranquilizes him, and at first we think, gone savage, and oh my gosh, like, I'm surprised, because even like that, he does grab Judy bites Judy by the neck, or maybe not, not fully bite, but just, just a little bit, and then out of blood and death, fools Judy, because change them with another type of blueberries, and backup is called. The Rams and Bellwether are arrested, and everything is great, and even Nick becomes a police officer as well. So yeah, and like Bogo says, the Nick Walden, Judy Hopps, palking Judy. And it's like, kidding. We have a report of somebody driving fast or whatever. And at the end of it, like, as they're outside, as they're in the police car, and as a car's driving by so fast, pull them over. The window pulls down, and it's Flash. Flash, 100-yard dash, and Flash is just like, Nick, and he's a sloth. Do we even know what he's doing of driving, and when he stops the car and pulls over, like, seriously, that's insane. And then the end credits him with the big party or whatever, with Gazelle, and all the characters are there because of Nick and Judy's parents, and also we see Nick and Priscilla. They're kind of like tense and slow, even like with the appearances of the Mayor Lion, Bellwether, and such, even that weasel. Oh yeah, even the weasel that like stole something from the market, and also was I forgot to mention this, that even Nick and Judy go talk to, and he was selling some DVDs that were Disney films, but themed with, the Zootopia world, even like Moana and Wreck-It Ralph and Frozen 2, and one of Disney's cancel films, Gigantica, which was going to be their version of Jack and the Beanstalk. So, if you guys remember that. Also, one thing is about this film is that, because this film went a little bit through a lot. Like, the original plot and story, because, like, Nick was going to be the main character and Judy supporting character, co-character, whatever. But a lot of people seem to be really more attached to Judy, and that's when switch places. Judy was the main character, and Nick was like the co-character, the co-star, whatever. But people, including mine, we still love Nick Wilde. Both love the characters. We love both Judy and Nick. Who doesn't? And also, one thing is there were going to be callers. Because like callers attached to them, like if they do something, even if they're innocent or anything like that, they'll shock them. And there's a very sad scene, like, because with the whole thing with the collar, they, like, Polar Bear Dad was going to be, at his son's birthday, was giving him his very first collar, and after that, attaching to him, and something that the Polar Bear kid does, and just nothing bad or anything, it shocks him, That is kind of a sad scene, when you watch it and everything else, and as it's described. But that was changed because, like, John Lasseter and a couple others, they got rid of that idea and such, and John Lasseter and I think the directors as well. A good thing they did, because what we got of Zootopia is way and a whole lot better, okay? Good thing they got rid of the collar, the idea of the collars, okay? Because what we got with Zootopia is way better. Way, way better. As I said. So Zootopia, well, I give it, I think it's clear to say, 10 out of 10 stars. 10 out of 10 stars for Zootopia. 10 out of 10 stars for Zootopia. It's fantastic. Again, I freaking love Zootopia. Who doesn't? It's a fantastic film, and by the directors who had previously done Wreck-It Ralph, they did a great job with this. Even one of the directors, I think it's Rich Moore, if I'm saying his name right. Like, he even had Wreck-It Ralph 2 be put on hold to focus on Zootopia. And good thing he did. I mean, of course, he still directed Wreck-It Ralph 2. Ralph Breaks the Internet, that is. And hey, I think Ralph Breaks the Internet, it turned out pretty good and pretty decent, so, But anyway, so again, 10 out of 10 stars for Zootopia. It's fantastic. It's hilarious. It has funny moments, emotional moments here and there, It's a great film. No doubt about it. So anyway, so again, 10 out of 10 stars for Zootopia. Hope you enjoyed this review video. More new review videos coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review video. Take care, and peace out.